Okay, let's dive into this explainer because what we're looking at today is a story that absolutely demands our full attention. It's a narrative that literally shifts in a split second from the absolute pinnacle of athletic celebration to a sobering, terrifying medical emergency. We're zeroing in on a recent event in the boxing world that has left an entire community holding its collective breath, just hoping and praying for a miracle. Really, it's a profound story of incredible bravery, a brutal reality check, and a stark reminder of the immense risks these athletes take every single time they step through those ropes. To truly understand the stakes here, I need you to picture the scene inside the Three Arena in Dublin this past Saturday night. The atmosphere was just electric, right? This event was supposed to be this massive, joyous celebration of Irish boxing talent. You've got the crowd roaring, the blinding lights, and right at the center of the whole shebang, a high-stakes bout for the BUI Celtic super lightweight title. But then, in a fraction of a second, the deafening roar of that arena was replaced by a chilling, heavy silence. A hometown hero, a genuinely brave fighter who had just given the performance of a lifetime, was suddenly plunged into a desperate fight for his own survival, needing immediate hospitalization. That jarring contrast between the celebratory buildup and this devastating conclusion is exactly why this story has hit everybody so hard.
Which brings us to Section 1, the 10th round knockout, the dramatic climax of that BUI Celtic super lightweight title fight.
The immediate aftermath of that final round is, quite frankly, a moment no one in the sport ever wants to witness. Following a heavy strike in the 10th round, Lee Reeves didn't get up. He was knocked unconscious instantly, hitting the canvas hard. The referee waved off the bout immediately, and suddenly, the competition took a complete backseat to a severe medical emergency. Medical personnel swarmed the ring, and Reeves actually had to be administered oxygen right there on the canvas as the entire arena watched in total shock. He was ultimately carried out on a stretcher and transported directly to a local Dublin hospital. It's a stark, solemn sequence of events that really forces us to confront the profound physical toll this sport demands of its athletes.
Section 2, the underdog's brave stand. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it sets up the context of the match before everything changed. To really grasp the magnitude of Reeves' effort that night, we have to look at the matchup on paper. We're talking about a stark contrast between two Irish southpaws. First, you have Gary Cully. He's a former European champion and a recognized top 10 fighter globally. The guy has a wealth of experience operating at the absolute highest echelons of the sport. Then you have Lee Reeves. Reeves came into this bout as the clear, undeniable underdog. He had fought at a lower level previously, but he specifically chose to use this fight as his platform, a massive, daring step up to prove he could stand toe-to-toe with the elite. He absolutely didn't have to take this fight, but he did, completely fueled by a desire to test himself against a truly formidable domestic rival. And that bravery, it wasn't just talk. The fight itself unfolded as a breathless, exhausting war. Through the first 4 rounds, Reeves didn't back down an inch. Instead, he applied incredibly heavy pressure early on, which surprised a lot of people who fully expected the elite veteran to just dominate from the opening bell. Then, moving into rounds 5 through 9, not only was Reeves surviving, but he appeared to actually be gaining the upper hand. He was fighting brilliantly. But, as you can imagine, that highly aggressive, pressure-heavy style takes an immense physical toll. By round 10, both men were completely exhausted, and Cully's elite experience finally paid off. He stayed switched on, found his window, and landed a perfectly timed heavy left hand flush on Reeves. That was the punch that ended the fight, but we absolutely cannot forget the 9 rounds of spectacular, undeniable grit that preceded it. Before we move on, I want you to focus on this number for a second. 16. That is the number of professional wins Lee Reeves meticulously built up before stepping into the ring that Saturday night. It represents a long, hard journey of moving up from welterweight to super lightweight, of grinding away in sweaty gyms, and of slowly but surely carving out a highly respected name for himself in the professional ranks. That number 16 is a true testament to his relentless dedication to his craft. Section 3. The man behind the gloves. Let's look at the incredible human being Reeves is outside the ring. You see, Lee Reeves leads an incredibly multifaceted life. Born and raised in Limerick, Ireland, he's a man deeply committed to his community and his country. He's an active soldier in the Irish Defence Forces, a super demanding role that he actually credits with instilling the fierce discipline he brings to boxing. On top of that, he's even found success as a model, working for major global brands like Nike and Guinness. But it's that final bullet point that tells you exactly who Lee Reeves is in his soul. He is an ambassador for Limerick Treaty Suicide Prevention. And this isn't just some honorary title. It's an active volunteer group that physically patrols the River Shannon, seeking out and offering immediate critical support to individuals in severe distress. So, the crucial point is this. Lee Reeves is a literal lifesaver. He has personally risked his own life to save a woman who had entered the River Shannon. I mean, just think about the profound juxtaposition here. Inside the ring, he's engaged in one of the most brutal solitary sports on earth. But outside the ring, he's a man who spends his free time pulling people back from the brink, physically putting himself in harm's way to ensure a total stranger gets a second chance at life. If that's not the very definition of a positive force in the world, I honestly don't know what is. And while his character is clearly unmatched, his boxing pedigree was also highly celebrated. Just look at this quote, "a future star." Those aren't just empty words being thrown around, they came directly from heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. Reeves' career actually took him from the amateur championships of Ireland all the way to the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. After signing with Lee Baxter Promotions over in Canada, he fought on this iconic St. Patrick's Day card in New York, and that is exactly where he caught the eye of Fury. He had the talent, the relentless drive, and the respect of the sport's absolute biggest names. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 4, the boxing community reacts. Whenever a tragedy like this strikes, the institutional backing and support from the community become absolutely crucial. Frank Warren, the promoter for the event from Queensberry Promotions, immediately released a statement. He said, "All our thoughts and prayers are with Lee Reeves and his family at this time as he remains in hospital. Everyone at Queensberry is thinking of him, and we're in constant contact with his team regarding his condition as we hope for positive news." This really highlights the gravity of the situation, right? It shows that the promotion completely halted any focus on the event's commercial success to redirect all their attention and resources toward the health and recovery of their fighter. And this brilliantly illustrates the profound brotherhood that exists within the sport, where humanity ultimately supersedes competition. This quote is from Gary Cully, his opponent, given during his post-fight interview. Despite having just won a major title, Cully was visibly shaken by what had happened. He said, "My prayers and thoughts are with Lee Reeves. Hopefully he's okay. He came in there as a big underdog, but he really showed that he can operate at a higher level. Huge credit to him." Even in those adrenaline-fueled moments right after a knockout victory, the immediate reaction of the victor was immense concern and deep, genuine respect for the man he had just fought. It proves that once that bell rings, they are no longer enemies, they're peers who share a unique and, frankly, dangerous profession. Which brings us to a difficult but necessary question to end our explainer today. When the final bell rings, how do we reconcile the brutal realities of the sport with the profound humanity of the heroes who step through those ropes? Lee Reeves is a soldier, a volunteer, a man who literally pulls people from freezing rivers to save their lives. Yet he pursues a sport that has now left him fighting for his own. As we continue to monitor the reports coming from the hospital, all we can do is hope. You know, in boxing, a fight might stop on a 10 count, but the concern for a fallen warrior continues long after that final bell. We wish Lee Reeves, a true hero both in and out of the ring, a full and speedy recovery. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep Lee in your thoughts and keep learning.